All right, let's talk about a huge challenge for anyone building with retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. When an AI uses a knowledge base to find answers. The big problem is, how do you get your system to find the right information when your user's questions are, well, kind of vague? Let's dive in and see how we can turn those simple queries into some seriously powerful search tools.
And this right here, this is the whole problem in a nutshell. A user just types API error. But your knowledge base, it's filled with super specific documents about authentication, error codes, troubleshooting, you name it. The user is thinking in shorthand, but the system needs precise, detailed language to find what it's looking for. This gap, this is where so many good RAG systems fall down. But what if you could actually bridge that gap? By using the strategies we're about to cover, you could see a massive boost in your system's recall. That's its ability to find all the relevant documents. We're talking a potential 15 to 35% improvement. Seriously, that's a total game changer.
So let's put a name to this thing, the vague query problem. It's kind of like the silent killer of RAG performance. It causes all your amazing, carefully written documents to just get completely ignored, all because the user didn't ask the question in exactly the right way. So let's break down why this keeps happening.
User queries usually fail for a few classic reasons. A lot of the time, they're just way too short, like someone just typing refund. Or they're ambiguous, like our API error example. They also tend to miss key synonyms. Is the user looking for a refund or a return? And sometimes, the words the user types just don't match the technical jargon you've used in your documents.
But here's the good news. We have solutions. Think of it like a toolbox, filled with 5 really powerful strategies designed to tackle this vague query problem head-on. Each tool does something different, and learning when to use each one is the secret to building a truly world-class RAG system.
So what's in this toolbox? Here's our roadmap. We've got synonym expansion, multi-query generation, hypothetical document embeddings, we'll call it HIDE, query rewriting, and query decomposition. And to really get a feel for how these work, we're going to do a deep dive on 2 of the absolute most powerful ones, HIDE and multi-query.
Okay, let's roll up our sleeves and get into our deep dive. We're going to unpack 2 of the most effective strategies out there, HIDE and multi-query. Trust me, these 2 can completely transform your retrieval performance, especially when you're dealing with those tricky open-ended questions.
First up is HIDE. Now this one it's a really clever, almost backwards idea. Instead of searching with the user's question, you first use an LLM to generate a perfect hypothetical answer. Then you take the meaning of that fake answer and use that to find real documents in your database.
And this right here is the big aha moment from the original research paper. The scientists who came up with HIDE realized something brilliant. The semantic shape of a well-written answer is way closer to other well-written answers than a short, vague question is. So you're not searching from question space, you're searching from answer space.
And the best part? It sounds complicated, but in practice, it's actually just a simple 3-step process. First, you give the user's question to an LLM and tell it, hey, write a detailed answer for this. Second, you take that text it just wrote and turn it into a vector embedding, basically a string of numbers that captures its meaning. And third, you use that new embedding to go find real documents that mean something similar. That's it.
All right, let's switch gears to our second power tool, the multi-query approach. If HIDE is about finding a better starting point for your search, then multi-query is all about casting a much wider, much smarter net. It's a classic divide-and-conquer strategy, plain and simple.
Check this out. It's a perfect example. A user asks a big, broad question like, how do I implement authentication? Well, an LLM can break that down into several more specific, targeted subqueries. It might generate questions about different methods, or maybe one about a specific protocol like OAuth, or even a request for code examples. Then, you just run a search for each of these, which gets you a much richer, more diverse set of results.
Now, what if you didn't have to choose just one tool? The most sophisticated systems out there, they don't. They use what's called an ensemble method, where they run multiple strategies at the same time, and then cleverly merge the results to get the best of all worlds.
So a typical ensemble workflow looks something like this. You run multiple searches all at once, one with the user's original query, another with synonyms, a third using multi-query, and a fourth using HIDE. This gives you 4 different lists of results.
Then you use a technique like reciprocal rank fusion, which is just a smart way to combine the lists, by giving more weight to documents that show up high on multiple lists to create one final master-ranked list of results.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually put it into practice? Let's get practical and talk about how you, as a builder, can start using these strategies to create a way smarter retrieval system.
So, the big takeaway here is that you've got to choose the right tool for the right job. Think of this table as your quick and dirty cheat sheet. Synonym expansion, that's your simple, fast baseline, an easy win. Multi-query is perfect for those big, complicated questions that have a few different parts. And Hide, you'll want to save that for the more open-ended, conceptual questions where generating a hypothetical answer really shines.
And here it is, a step-by-step plan you can literally start using today. Always start by measuring your baseline performance with just the original query. Then, add synonym expansion. It's easy, and you'll probably get a nice little boost. From there, you can start experimenting with Hide and multi-query for the right use cases. And just remember, measure your recall improvement at every step, and always keep an eye on latency. Some of these more powerful techniques can add a tiny bit of delay.
And that brings us to the end. We've seen how transforming a user's query before you even search can unlock a massive improvement in performance. From simple synonyms to the crazy cleverness of Hide, you now have a full toolbox to work with. So, I guess the only question left is, which tool are you going to add to your RAG toolbox first?